With the new naval update just around the corner, I thought it was worth putting together this quick video on everything you need to know to get started with this update. I'm going to cover how to build your very own boat, things to watch out for, as well as what to expect when you go out on the deep sea. So if this video is helpful for you, please give me a like and a subscribe down below, and let's get started. So starting off with the basics, there are obviously a few new additions, and we're going to see them right here. So this is the anchor, the boat building plan, building station, steering wheel, the sail, the small boat engine. We also have the cannon, the plank, and the small ramp. Now, pretty much all but one of these items can be found in the Tier 1 workbench. You'll be able to see these on the left-hand side under the hammer tree. So you can see right here, if you go down through the paddle on the kayak, we'll see the boat station is the first thing we see. Now, very, very cheap. It does take around 240 scrap to learn the first 4 items, and of course the anchor, plank, cannonball, and ramp and cannon are all a little bit further down. But in order to get the first basic boat, these 4 things are all right here. It's 240 scrap. Now we pop over here to the Tier 2, we can see on the left-hand side the small boat engine is down here for a grand total of 195 scrap. So now let's move on to actually building the base. The first thing we want to do is go out to the ocean and from here put down your station. You will need to be a little bit deep, you can't do this in the shallows. As you can see, this is the station. When it's in edit mode, the parasol is up. When it's not in edit mode, the parasol is down. You can just simply toggle this on by pressing E. Once the parasol is open, we have this netting that we can walk on, which makes it a lot easier to place down the building blocks. Okay, so let's get started with our boat building plan. As you can see, the boat building plan, like a normal building plan, we have lots of different options to craft that all require wood and low grade. So let's start off with a 2x2. Let's slap this down. And always make sure you have your hammer handy, because like with a regular base, you can demolish building pieces as long as they've been placed recently. Now it's time to place the steering wheel. You can see a code lock has automatically been added, and from here we can lock this to prevent other people from accessing it. Now, we cannot finish building this base until we have a method of travel, such as a sail or an engine. Okay, so what I want to make sure I do is chuck down a sail, and those arrows are the direction the boat is going to go in. So I'll put that like this. Now, as soon as I click finish building, the netting will disappear, and the station will automatically be added to my inventory, as you can see right here. Okay, so now we can lower the sail, and the boat is on its way. Of course, I can raise or lower the sail as I wish. So now the boat has stopped, and you can see right here, this is the prime area for editing your boat. Not too far from shore, but again, not too close. Now the steering wheel acts similar to a TC, where I can authorize who I'd like to make changes to this base. These are the 2 options you have, but if you click deploy and edit, it will take the station back out of my pocket and allow me to re-edit the base. Okay, now once you're back in this edit mode, again, we can pick things up such as the steering wheel or the engines if I want to change the layout of the base, which is super helpful. So now it's time to put down some engines. Now, I want to talk about placement. This is very important. I think something people aren't familiar with. Now with the engine down, I can put the fuel in and I can turn on the engine. Now look at how the boat changes direction. You can see it's actually veering off to the right. That is because the engine is not in the center, it's off to the left, it's off balance, so the boat will always go to the right, even if it should be going straight. So now let's try that again with an engine in each corner to perfectly balance the boat. Let's finish the building. Let's put some low grade in both of these machines. Lovely stuff. And we'll put some in this side as well, and we'll turn on both. And if we look now, the boat goes perfectly straight. So remember when you're building your base to make sure you balance your engines. Okay, so let's get started with building. As you can see, very similar to the traditional building method, except the boat bases are capped at 2.5 floors. As you can see, if I go any higher than this, the only thing I can place is a low wall. Okay, so let's place some of these floors down and put down a low wall. Okay, so low walls and cannon walls are basically the only things you can place past this point, as you can see right here. Okay, so to power your boat, you will of course need an engine. This can only be placed on the bottom floor of your base. So you want to make sure you can access this very easily. The sail itself can be placed basically on any floor. You just have to make sure there is no obstruction above it. So I think it's easier just to put it on the very top floor. Now forget what you know about stability, it is very different on boats. As you can see here, I'm going to place a half wall to another one and it will stay in place. You can also see here we can even add our very own moon pool, and this works exactly fine. In fact, if anything, it will bring your submarine along with you, which I think is a very cool feature. The new deployables can of course be placed very easily on your boat. Of course, most of them will have to be sitting off the side of the boat, so you can see these items right here. But of course, when you're in edit mode, very easy to just pick them up and move them around as you see fit. Now, if the timer has run out and you're no longer able to demolish a wall, all you need to do is go into deploy and edit mode, and from there you can start taking out the individual piece. All you need is something like a hatchet to be able to take it out. And of course, once it's removed, you can easily just add a brand new building piece. Now, next up we have the anchor. This can only be placed again on the bottom floor, and it has to be placed in certain positions. You can't just freely choose where you want it to go. I personally would recommend doing a door frame and then adding yourself in your anchor. By doing it this way, you can also add in your door itself, keeping it shielded from people being able to sort of shoot through. Now, the anchor is very, very important. As you can see here, we can use this to lower, and this will keep the boat in place and prevents it from drifting away. And again, we can then also use this to peek out, and of course use it as a bit of cover as well. Very, very important point to note is that, like all the other deployables on the boat, the anchor is not stationary and can be picked up as soon as you go into edit mode. So if you can't already tell, the engines are a lot more powerful than the sails. You can see that one engine gives you around 10,000 power, whereas one sail will only give you the power of 2,500. That means for every one engine, you're going to need at least 4 sails to reach the same level of speed. So what can you put on your boat base? What I've done is I've tried to put down every single deployable that I can find. So of course the sandbags, the barricades can all go down. Here we have the wall attachments, so the trophies, for example, can go, as well as having some light. Of course, we have the locker and furnaces. Of course, you need a place to chill, so sofas and chairs are absolutely fine. Of course, all the workbenches can go down. Now, there's no electrical items, but for whatever reason, you can still have the computer stations and drones. So I'm sure a few of you have some fun ideas for those. Mixing tables and cookers are absolutely fine. The musical instruments, all of those deployables can be placed, as well as fridges, which I do find interesting because they won't work without any electricity. Of course, like I said, the chairs are fine. Storage racks, both small and large, are both fine, as are the repair and research tables. Again, tables in general are allowed. Of course, the hobo barrel, absolutely fine. All storage containers are absolutely fine, so I stopped up to the wicker basket, as is barbecues. Of course, to make it a bit more homey, we can have rugs and bear rugs. Sleeping bags and beds are absolutely fine. I've already said that the chairs themselves and the art easels, again, are absolutely fine. If you do get a bit bored, you can of course play a bit of chippy. This is fine to add, as is the Christmas lights. This is the original edition that doesn't have to be powered. These can be added. Balloons can also be added wherever you see fit. The clan table can also be added, but obviously this isn't that useful at the moment. And of course, here are all the comfy trophies that you can add, including the skull trophy. At the moment, the mannequins can be added, as you can see right here. And of course, the only trap you can add is the spiked trap. Aside from that, the next thing you can actually add, which I found really, really interesting, is fireworks. We're not allowed electrics, but we're allowed fireworks. So look into that as you see fit. So this is everything that you can add to your base. Now, it is probably worth mentioning you also cannot add any farming materials, so such things as water catchers or even planter pots. These cannot be added, unfortunately. So hopefully that is something that changes in the future, but for now, that is just the way it is. So let's talk raiding. As soon as your base reaches 0 health, you will hear a noise start to play, like a creaking noise. You can start to hear it right now. And as soon as that starts to play, your boat will begin to sink. You can no longer repair or save your boat. Now, as soon as the boat begins to sink, all of the doors and windows, regardless of quality, will break. This allows anyone to scoop into your base and pick up all of your loot, including all the deployables that are left over. Now, to help slow down the raiders, something I recommend doing is locking every single storage container that you possibly can. I've also found you can hide containers behind these wooden stairs, which makes it a little bit harder for the raiders to reach the loot. Now, I find this makes it a lot easier because as soon as the boat goes down, they have to manually destroy these boxes, and if you've made it harder for them to reach, they're going to be unable to access all of your loot, giving you more time to get back and help save your loot. So now let's talk the deep sea. As soon as you enter, the fog of war will have activated and you will not be able to see anything you have not already previously discovered. In the deep sea, you will also find ghost ships. There are 4 different types. There is the blue one called Isabella. There is a green one called Maritime 2. The yellow one is called Jenny 3. And the red one is called Poseidon 4. Now these boats do not move, but you can board them. On board are a lot of scientists as well as a decent amount of loot. You will find plenty of barrels as well as brown and even military boxes inside. Now at least one of these boats will also have a lock crate, which is normally here or here in this corner. If we keep searching through the boat, we can actually go upstairs and enter the first floor. In here you will find bedrooms, and each of these will normally have either a military crate or a brown box at the very least. There are 4 rooms just like these, and after looking at these, go down to the very end of the hall and you will also find up to elite crates in this room. We can proceed on then up to the captain's area. Now this has the best loot here on the boat. As you can see, we have small brown boats here to our right, but if we proceed through here, you can see we have a military crate and 2 elite boxes, and the loot is pretty good. Of course, don't forget to go and check the very top of the base. Sometimes there's military crates up here as well. And of course, do not forget the very front, where you'll find even more barrels and boxes. Now, should you come across a locked crate in one of these ships and activate it, you will see some scientists will appear. It will be 2 ribs and one of the new PT boats that will arrive. So this is the new ribs and of course the PT boat itself. Once these arrive, you can kill the scientists and take over these boats. This is the new rib if you've not seen it. It comes with 2 new maps, which you can of course take back with you to the mainland as well. The PT boat is actually a lot of fun. It has 2 mounted guns, one on the front and on the back, which yes, you can reload. It also comes with storage. As you can see here, you can also steer this boat. As mentioned, you can mount both the gun on the front and the back of this, and yes, you can reload it. Just make sure you have 5.56 in inventory, and just by pressing R, you can reload these guns. Now there are 3 main types of islands. There are the small islands, the medium-sized islands, and the large-sized islands here in the deep sea. One of the first things you will see on these islands is of course the coconuts. You can eat these, but they don't really offer that much. You will also see these ammo boxes near the cannons, which do offer a good amount of loot in my opinion. Of course you can do metal detector in here. I've heard the loot is pretty good. I just haven't seen it for myself yet. Now this warehouse does randomly spawn on some of these islands, and again you'll get the ammo box right outside. But if we head on in, this is where the real magic is. It will be full of red barrels. You can get up to 15 barrels apparently. You will also get either a military crate or a brown crate or another ammo box at the very back. Now not every island will have a warehouse, instead you will have a pier which will also have the red barrels and a small boat for leaving if you are stranded. Most islands will also have either sulfur or iron nodes for you to go out and do some farming. Now on the medium to large islands you're going to find small monuments such as these. These will have loot and they will also have the chance to have this beacon that you can see right here. If you do get close to it, you will see it actually gives you the opportunity to call it an airdrop. This only allows you to do it once, but as soon as you press E, you can see it will immediately start transmitting and requesting yourself an airdrop. Now while you're waiting for that airdrop, you can of course check the local area, but do a bit of parkour and you'll often find some loot nearby hidden in the monument. Now when the airdrop is ready to be called, because it will not be ready straight away, this flare, as you can see right here, will be thrown up into the sky, letting everyone in the deep sea know the airdrop is ready to be called. Now although you can't specifically build on the islands, so for example we can see here we can't place down any sleeping bags, you can place down stone and wooden barricades here on the island. So don't worry, you can still do your PvP. Now the last monument here in the deep sea is the floating city. This is a mixture of bandit camp and outpost, and it is essentially a safe zone here in the deep sea. Here you'll find shops previously found at the outpost, and of course resellers here from the bandit camp as well. If we head further into the floating city, you will also find this elevator which will take you up to the city's very own casino. In here you'll find everything you are used to at the bandit camp, including the wheel, as well as blackjack and the slot machines. Scattered around the city you will also find a bunch of recyclers, as well as an oil refinery. If you head up towards the farm, on the left hand side you will also find a tier 1 workbench for you to use for crafting. Now the farm itself is actually a separate part of the city. You will need to pay 150 scrap to enter to this individual right here. As soon as you step through, the door behind you will close to prevent anyone else from sneaking in. Once you are inside, you have access to some hemp seeds. This one actually had very good genetics. I was very happy about this one. And of course all these other fruit and vegetables. So we can see we have corn, pumpkins, potatoes, everything we need food wise. You also have access to fresh drinking water which you can take with you. So that is everything. If you found this interesting, again please give us a like and a comment down below as it really helps us out. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the seas.